also in the beginning of August. I mean, we are very, very blessed. Please continue to bless what
You
you
know
are doing
something
with
I
your
don't.
presence. And I think Pastor does not need any introduction. Most of you are regular here, and you know about Ramapal Swami. He has been in serving Srila Prabhupada for 50, I think now 55 years, no?
55, 56,
Yeah,
something like that.
yes. And Maharaj used to be the chairman of the GBC as well. Serve several communities around America, and also in Singapore. Maharaj frequently go there, go to South India, North India, and most I think the best thing is the yatras. If nobody has ever been to one of Maharaj yatra, this is like nectar of the nectar. To be at this place and hearing about the pastime on the spot. And this year we'll be going to Sri Lanka. And those who love Ramayan, actually we had a play, Ramayan play, and many of us was acting.
Really?
We were planning to do that for
Little
you.
local drama.
Yes, we were planning to do that for you, but some of the actors and actresses are not here. That's why we are not doing it here now, but we are planning to do it on your next trip.
How about in South India and in Sri Lanka?
Oh,
I'm going to interrupt. Tomorrow evening is a class with the Chinese, a Zoom class with the Chinese devotees. In the Communist Party, the Communist Party arranged for a big extravaganza of Chinese actors, actresses, dancers, singers performing Ramayana in Beijing.
Haribol.
And the reason for going to Sri Lanka is because the devotees from China can't get a visa to India. And the people from India can't get a visa to China. So we're not going to go to India this time. We're going to Sri Lanka and Sundarakanda. Sundarakanda. That's the they. You know, we have our national holiday, 4th of July, Memorial Day weekend. You know, the Memorial Day weekend one, just did it, and so they have 7 days. You know, when the Communist Party took over and Mao did what Mao did and kicked everybody else out, and he took over, and they have a national holiday. 7 days. Workaholic people don't work for 7 days. So we have a festival, Hare Krishna festival. But it's not going to be in China because for XYZ reasons, government reasons. So Sri Sundarakanda, sweet as can be. I mean, there's other sweet things in Ramayana, but it's very, very sweet. So if you don't know what you're going to be doing in the middle of October, or do know what you're going to be doing, you want to add this to what you're doing, come on and join us. It's going to be a very nice experience.
He's coming.
You're coming. Okay. Let me give the lineup of guest speakers. This is an advertisement. One devotee, Jayapataka Maharaj's disciple named Vidvangaranga Prabhu, is translating Valmiki Ramayana plus all the commentaries of Govindaraj and all the other Sri Vaishnava commentators and putting it into a book. And each khanda is this thick. And he has them published, the first 2 khandas, and he agreed to be a guest speaker. One problem, or a couple of problems. He doesn't travel. He doesn't have a visa. Excuse me, he doesn't have a passport. Because he just does what he does. But his commitment is to speak. There's 10 principal teachings. Some of you may know all this already, and some of you may not. Govinda Raja is the #1 Sri Vaishnava commentator on Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana. And he's written many, many things. And one of the many things he's written is the 10 principal teachings or lessons from Ramayana. And that's his topic for like 4 classes, 2 hours each. And if you want to learn about a rich exposition on what's in that Ramayana from the vantage point of the foremost authority scholar, Govindaraj. And Vidvan Guranga is going to be scheduled at least, as long as he gets his passport. And there's another devotee named Nityananda Pran, who has a very delightful way of presenting Ramayana. He has a little musical ensemble, a traditional South Indian vocalist, Mataji, and her son who plays violin, another son that plays mridanga, and her husband who makes fantastic PowerPoint presentations and narrating the story, highlighting certain verses. She sings the verses, the family accompanies her singing the verses, and it brings people to tears. They're really good. Really good. And if you don't come, there'll be YouTube videos made of the thing and live broadcasts you can watch from wherever you are. But in person that's the best. Invitation. Now, may I go ahead?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj, for coming, and we can start now.
Okay. Now, many of you, because you're in Florida, many of you during Memorial Day weekend went to, you got your T-shirt on. But you may want to know, you may not want to know. Go ahead. Thank you very much. Our host is very enthusiastic. You make cool garland. It's come from the refrigerator. It's really. Hi, Krishna. This year was the 37th year before Sadhu Sangha started. A number of us have been conducting Memorial Day weekend retreats in Gitanagari. There's a history behind it, but without all the details. Just this past, while many of you were in Orlando, there were a number of us, not as many, but a number of us in Gitanagari conducting a topic on Krishna in Braja. The guest speaker was, along with myself, was a Sanskrit scholar named Garuda Prabhu. Any of you know Garuda Prabhu? He's a PhD Sanskrit scholar from Harvard University. He's written 5 books on Krishna in Braja, and is particularly interested in, and he's writing another book now on the Pancha Jayi, the 5 chapters of 10th Canto Bhagavatam of Rasa Dance. But he presented it in such a way, new people, because I told him, there's going to be totally new people here. So he said, I speak to many audiences, it's totally new people, it's no problem. And so from that, and I was speaking on, so one of the main topics I was speaking on was Canto 10, Chapter 12, the killing of Aghasura. Because the Aghasura Leela leads to Brahma Vimohan Leela, leads to Brahma's prayers. So that's 12, 13, 14. So I've been having a great time speaking on those topics. And I'm going to cover a little bit. Here's a little bit. In the Aghasura Leela, there's a fantastic display of Krishna's Leela Shakti. Our acharyas use the word Leela Shakti. Prabhupada commonly doesn't use Leela Shakti, but uses Yogamaya. So I took a topic, what's the relationship between Yogamaya and Leela Shakti? And the focus was the Agasura Leela. I'm doing this because it's preparation for chapter 14. And it gets us in the mood a little bit of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna and Vrindavan. I'm looking around the room and I don't know how much Sanskrit terminology to use. I'll use some and explain. One of the powers of Krishna is he doesn't have to do anything. He just desires. There's two Sanskrit terms, Icha Shakti. Icha we know from Bhagavad Gita. Icha Dvesha Samutena Dvandva Mohena Bharata. Living entities, us, we're overwhelmed, Mohena, Dvandva Mohena, by desire and hate. Icha and Dvesha. Icha Dvesha Samutena Dvandva Mohena Bharata. But when Krishna has Icha, it is no moha. It's just, he doesn't even have to lift a pinky. He doesn't have to, he could lift Govardhan Hill without lifting Govardhan Hill. He didn't have to hold it up with his left hand. I mean, who can hold up a hill with the left hand anyways? But so things happen by his Shaktis. Krishna desires. Is everything okay? Your hand signaling something. You want to see the slides moving? Here's a slide moving. It works.
This is the second backup.
Is it blocking your vision? Is that the problem, Mom? Mataji?
The internet in the phone. So this is the backup recording.
Okay, so just Shanti. Okay. A second term aside from Icha is Satya Sankalpa Shakti. Shakti we all know, potency. Sankalpa means intention. Like when we have japa retreats. Some of you have been to japa retreats, I'm sure. One of the things that's commonly done, not always, but Satchidananda Swami likes this one. Everyone gets a piece of paper and you're supposed to take some minutes and write down what your sankalpa is. What's your intention in coming to this japa retreat? Because if you focus on why you're here, you're more likely to get something valuable from it because you're focused on why you're here. Sankalpa. Or another example of sankalpa. When you go to the karma kanda procedure is you go to a qualified brahmana and tell the qualified brahmana what your intention is, because if you don't tell him, he's going to ask you, because he takes mantras to match the intention, the sankalpa, and then they worship this deva or that devi and whatever, but it's all directed towards your sankalpa, your intention. So when Krishna has a sankalpa, his Shaktis take care of it. And therefore, Satya Sankalpa Shakti, Satya, it happens, it's truth. It's absolute truth, reality. Just Krishna desires and voila. It happens. How? His potencies take care of everything. Yes? Parasya Shaktir Vivadaiva Shruyate Swabhavaki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. There's different categories, Jnana and Bala, but there's etc. Innumerable, unlimited. Unlimited. That's going to come up in the text, chapter 13. But so there's a pastime, chapter 12, where Krishna chooses to do a few things. 1, 2, 3. 1, he does something he never did before, which is he asks his mother, instead of having breakfast before we go out to herd the calves, I want to have lunch with me. Make a lunch packet for me. So she does. Not all mothers are going to say yes to a question like that one, but she did. Because Krishna wanted it. And the second is Balaram stayed home. And there are different reasons why Balaram stayed home, but he wasn't there. There was a birthday or he had some relative. There's different acharyas say different reasons why he wasn't there. Balaram wasn't there. It's important that he wasn't there. It would have messed up the Leela if he was there. So he wasn't there. And then they play. So chapter 12, they play and play and play and play. That's the first half. That very celebrated verse, Krita Punya Punja. After narrating all the playful activities of the cowherd boys, Shukadeva Goswami kind of goes into trance. And a very special verse, how fortunate are these cowherd boys? And he compares the cowherd boys to the Gyanis that have Brahmasuk, Brahma Saukyam Twanantam. Nothing compared to the happiness of the cowherd boys. And then other comparisons. They're so exalted, these cowherd boys. I mean, Shukadeva Goswami is not a cowherd boy, but he understands how fortunate they are. His meditation carried him to the place where he just couldn't speak for a while. Then he goes back to speaking. What happened next is, as the boys are playing and playing and playing and play, super playing mood, they see this giant 8-mile long serpent. I mean, how long was the drive, Saranga? How long was the drive between Fort Lauderdale and the Miami airport? How many miles? 31 miles. 31 miles? 31, 33. It's like 8 Agasuras. No, excuse me, 4 Agasuras. 4 Agasuras. The guy's big. And his upper jaw is in the clouds and his lower jaw is on the ground. The guy's big. And the cowherd boys are playing. So they see this giant thing. They think, oh, how nice. Somebody made a playground for us out here in the middle of the forest. Let's go. And because they're playing. They're little boys, and anything is an opportunity to play. And as they get closer, they see his eyes are moving. And they get closer, they smell this bad, fishy smell from his breath. And it means he's eaten other living entities. And they think, wait a minute. And some of them start to run. And others say, no, it's a play place. And they're debating about what it is and what it isn't. And they say, well, even if he's a demon, wants to kill us, just yesterday, chapter 11, Krishna killed Baka. So if he's trying to harm us, Krishna will take care of him. Let's go. So off they go. And how many cowherd boys are there? Asankhataha. That's a lot. Too many, you can't count them. Some finite number, but too many. And calves. And they all go marching into the mouth of Agasura. And this is the key. Krishna didn't want them to go, and they went. But he has such a sankalpa shakti, or whatever he does happens. And what he wanted to not happen, happened. So there's this very wonderful discussion And it has something to do with the pastime that's coming up, chapter 13. Leela Shakti arranged the whole thing. Why? Krishna wanted, and so Leela Shakti arranged, that he would experience astonishment and compassion, because compassion, karuna rasa, this is the science of Rupa Goswami of rasa, tattva. But Krishna has a relationship with the cowherd boys of friendship and servitorship, mixed rasa. And that's primary rasa, and the secondary rasa was, the nature of secondary rasas is it eclipses, the primary rasa is still there, but the secondary rasa becomes so prominent, it conceals or eclipses the primary rasa. And so he's feeling astonishment. And then he begins to reflect, how did this happen? And he said, then he concludes, it's my Leela Shakti. They knew that I wanted to have this experience, and so they arranged this. So what I wanted wouldn't happen. Because otherwise what I want happens. And then when they entered the mouth, the Aghasura demon didn't close his mouth because he wanted to kill Krishna. So now Krishna is looking at this gigantic demon, thinking how to rescue. He feels compassion because he knows the cowherd boys see him as their life and soul, and he has similar reciprocal affection for the cowherd boys. So he's perplexed. The Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes perplexed. Right? Leela Shakti. So that he can be in this position and teach us a lesson too. What do you do when you get perplexed and you don't know what to do? Now, we rely on Krishna, but he's Krishna. So he contemplated how marvelous is my Leela Shakti. And specifically, Sukadeva Goswami says he waited for the intelligence to understand how to kill the demon and rescue the cowherd boys, and to rescue the cowherd boys. And how he did that was very nice. And then that's the end of chapter 12. Then chapter 13, because we're going back to chapter 14. Chapter 13 it ends with Krishna picks a nice spot to have lunch because they didn't have breakfast yet. It's still the same day. They didn't have breakfast yet, so he picks a nice spot for the cowherd boys to have breakfast by the bank of the river Jamuna. And sandy and this and that, a beautiful description of the scene. Beautiful Vrindavan. It's like, whoa, beautiful Vrindavan. And up in the sky, the demigods, one of the things that it caught Krishna's attention, the demigods were watching all this. And when the cowherd boys entered the mouth of a Aghasura demon, the demigods shouted and cried out in tears, "No!" When Krishna heard that, that was it. He had to relieve the demigods of that anxiety, so he entered the mouth of a Aghasura demon, became really big and suffocated him. Anyway, now it's lunchtime. It's one of the standard things that happens after Krishna kills a demon in Vrindavan. Time for lunch. Change of mood. And it says right in the verse of the Bhagavatam that this giant creature, 8-mile-long creature, stayed there for a long, long time. It dried up and became a playground. It became what the boys thought it was supposed to be. For a long time. Dead snake, playground. But that's what the Bhagavatam says. So, watching from above, demigods, and Lord Brahma. That's chapter 13. Lord Brahma saw this light come from the head of Aghasura, hover in the air, and enter into the body of Krishna. Wow. He tried to kill Krishna, and Krishna gave him liberation. How powerful is this little boy? So he started to ponder, what's the limit? Is there a limit? What other wonderful pastimes can he do? I'd want to see some of those wonderful pastimes that he can do. So he came up with a very bad plan. The very bad plan was the calves, listen carefully, the calves started to wander, fresh grass. The boys were absorbed in being with Krishna and playing, but they noticed the calves were gone. Krishna said, don't worry. This is important. He eats with his right hand, and so he had, in his left hand, he had a lump of yogurt and some fruit. So he said, you don't worry, I'll go find the calves. Now Krishna knew what Brahma's plan was. So what happened, because Krishna knew what Brahma's plan was, listen, Yogamaya concealed, this is Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Yogamaya hid the cowherd boys, Krishna's cowherd boys. The eternal associates of Krishna were hidden from vision. 2, Maya cowherd boys, just like when Ravana wanted to steal Sita, Maya Sita, because Ravana can't touch Sita. So Maya Sita. Similarly, Maya cowherd boys. So that's what there's the scene. The Maya cowherd boys and Maya calves, created by Mahamaya. And that's who Brahma stole. And then Brahma's going back to the scene of the crime to see what's Krishna going to do. Because he stole his calves and cowherd boys, leaving Krishna alone. And when he came back, Krishna wasn't alone. There was all the calves and all the cowherd boys having the lunch. And when he saw them, Krishna smiled. And there's details, but all at once, for every one of those asankhya cowherd boys, Krishna manifested a form of Vishnu, the big Vishnu and little cowherd boys, simultaneously the cowherd boy and Vishnu. And then all of the energies of creation, spiritual and material creation, manifested, personified, and were offering prayers. It's like a big long list of who showed up. And Brahma's seeing all this, and the universes are appearing and disappearing and appearing and disappearing. And he created one universe, and Krishna, sitting there, is manifesting all of these Vishnu forms. Now, Einstein taught us something. Prabhupada accepts. But the Vedas accept. There's relative time. Yes? The life of a mosquito or the life of a microbe, maybe 24 hours. And our life is whatever it is, 100 years. And the life of the demigods is much longer. The life of Brahma is much longer. Time is relative. For example, just yesterday morning, not this morning, yesterday morning I was hearing Prabhupada describe 1 month has 2 Ekadasis. No, excuse me, two Ekadasis. The 14th, the 11th day and the 11th day, the waxing and the waning. So in the waxing moon, there's 15 days. 15 days here equals 1 day on the heavenly planets. 15 days of the waning moon is 1 night. 1 month in the heavenly realm is 1 day. Should I do it again? It's clear. In Brahmaloka, 1 moment is 1 year. So Brahma was gone, and 1 moment later, he came back. But 1 year had passed. on the earthly realm. And on the earthly realm, each of the cowherd boys that was Krishna, each one of the cowherd boys that was Krishna went back home and told mom and dad, guess what happened today? Da-da-da-da-da-da. And then the boys lived together with their parents, the mothers. Is it possible that your son could come home and you don't recognize whether it's your son or not? It looks a little bit like, you're going to tell the difference, but they couldn't tell the difference. So listen, we have 3 sets of cowherd boys. The original cowherd boys, Yogamaya concealed them. Maya, cowherd boys. Krishna, cowherd boys. That's 3 sets. Identical looking. Identical. That's cool. But that's Krishna. And for 1 year, the mothers of the boys, they wanted to have Krishna as their son. They're happy with their son, but they wanted Krishna as their son also. So Krishna became their son. And the cows had calves, but they wanted Krishna to become their calf. So Krishna became their calf. There's devotees too. They wanted Krishna as their calf. So he became their calf for 1 year. And this is a nice painting. The larger painting shows there one day during this year, the cows were up on Govardhan Hill, grazing, the cowherd men tending the cows. At the bottom of Govardhan Hill was the boys and the calves. And the cows saw their calves, who were Krishna. So cows started running down Govardhan Hill. You ever see a cow run? It's very awkward. But they can run. And I haven't even gotten to chapter 14 yet. We're still doing chapter 13. So during that period of 1 year, the calves went running down the hill, the cowherd men waving their sticks in the air, saying, stop, how you were to say that in local language, and they wouldn't stop because they wanted to be with their calves, who was Krishna. But when they got to the bottom of the hill, they saw their cowherd boys, the fathers, and they forgot everything. They just embraced their boys, and Balaram is watching, Krishna is watching the fun. But it's all forms of Krishna, both the calves and the boys who are being embraced by the fathers and the cows. So this is a nice painting where Lord Brahma, before he kidnaps the cowherd boys, he sees all of this, then he sees this. And then so Krishna withdrew these Vishnu forms, and it was just Krishna standing alone without the cowherd boys manifest before Lord Brahma's eyes. And Lord Brahma, so just the 2 of them. With unblinking eyes, Krishna with the yogurt in his left hand, looking at Lord Brahma. And that's the end of chapter 13. So now we're ready for his prayers. I hope. Now there's several sections of prayers. There's 60 prayers, so I've divided it into groups. The first 8, we're going to hear the first 7 of the first 8, because text number 8 is a very special verse. That's day after tomorrow. So his humility, his description of Krishna's inconceivable potencies. He makes this nice presentation about the difference between knowledge and ignorance. He glorifies the gopis, and he glorifies Krishna. So it's 40 verses, makes chapter 14. So we're going to be looking at these, actually the first 7 of those 8. So I'm calling it the first half. Brahma has directly realized that Nandana is the source of all forms of eternality, knowledge, and bliss. Eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Having attained firm devotion at the lotus feet of Krishna, Brahma profusely praises the Lord. So we're going to go through the first 7 verses. There's some wonderful teachings about Srimad Bhagavatam that I want to share just before we go forward a little any further. The sound vibration, as we know that the holy name is not different than Krishna, the sound of Srimad Bhagavatam is not different than Krishna. And our acharyas explained elaborately, Srimad Bhagavatam is self-revelatory. That is to say, the meanings of who is Krishna is revealed through the sound vibration of the mantras. So we're going to be reciting or the translations of these first 7 mantras. And the sound, it's meant for meditation. You'll see. It explains the nature of Krishna, but it reveals the form of Krishna by hearing it. Here's Brahma offering the first prayer. My dear Lord, you are the only worshipable Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore I offer my humble obeisances and prayers just to please you. That he describes his form. He's enthralled by Krishna's form. O son of the king of the cowherds, your transcendental body is dark blue, like a new cloud. Your garment is brilliant, like lightning. The beauty of your face is enchanted by your gunja earrings and peacock feather on your head. Now, this is a meditation on the form of Krishna, which you can get just from chanting of Krishna's name. And added to the chanting of Krishna's name is the message about Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam, because this is Brahma telling us what he's seeing, or he's telling Krishna what he's seeing. He's telling us what he's seeing. And in a short while, these very same verses, the very same images are going to be explained with deeper meaning by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's a meditation. It's meant to be a meditation. And it's self-revelatory. Wearing garlands, plural, of various forest flowers and leaves, equipped with a herding stick, a buffalo horn, and a flute. You stand beautifully with a morsel of food in your hand. Notice his left hand is still extended, waiting for Brahma to finish his prayers because he wants to get back with the cowherd voice. Jiva Goswami's commentary. Oh, most worthy of worship, Idya, you are worthy of praise because today I have seen the whole material and spiritual realms enter into and emerge from you, the Supreme Brahman, composed of power and sweetness. With heart attracted to Krishna's childhood pastimes, Brahma points out more particular items, which we're going to hear again. Now this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is going to elaborate on the hidden meaning or the poetic implication of what Brahma is saying. His body is the color of a dark rain cloud. So this is Vishwanath explaining the earth gets relief from the scorching heat of summer through the cloud of Krishna's rain. Like the Chataka bird, devotees sustain their lives with the mercy pouring from the rain clouds of Krishna. Now, anyone that's heard Srila Prabhupada lectures know about, I didn't know what a Chataka bird was until I heard Prabhupada explain. Most birds take water from a reservoir of water. Like you put out in your backyard a little bird bath and they'll come and fly in and take a bath and drink some water and fly away. But at Chatak, they don't do this. They'll only take water that comes directly from rain. And if there's no rain, they die because you need water to survive. So just as the Chatak bird, devotees are also sustained by this downpour of rain. The color of Krishna is like that of a dark rain cloud. The poetic implication is devotees live on the mercy that come from that dark rain cloud, namely Krishna, the mercy that comes from Krishna. The Gunja berry earrings, forest flower garlands, it was actually plural, and peacock feather. Gunja berries are abundant in Vrindavan. It's no big deal. But in Vrindavan, it's a big deal because these Gunja berries, many of you, some of you may not know, many of you will know that there was a time when one sannyasi visited Vrindavan and brought back from Vrindavan a gift for Lord Chaitanya, 2 gifts. You were? A Govardhan Shila and Gunja berry necklace. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worshipped in ecstasy of love this Govardhan Shila and Gunja berries, and after 1 year's time he gave them to Raghunath Das Goswami. That's how dear Raghunath Das Goswami was. And by that gift, Raghunath Das understood, Lord Chaitanya is giving me a place of residence at Govardhan Hill and the mercy of Srimati Radharani in the form of the Gunja berries. I mean, that's elevated Vaishnavas, and we're not elevated Vaishnavas, but Vishwanath is, and he's helping us understand what Lord Brahma is saying, poetically, the deeper meaning. By Krishna wearing Gunja berries, it's very, very special. It's more special than the precious jewels of Vaikuntha. I mean, there's precious jewels in this realm, but there's precious jewels in Vaikuntha that are far greater than anything of this realm. And the Gunja berries that are abundant in Vrindavan, Krishna's wearing them. And they're superior to the precious jewels of Vrindavan, or Vaikuntha. Forest garlands, should be plural, of wild flowers and leaves around Krishna's neck is superior to those made of the parijata flowers from Swargaloka. You know, a big deal that the parijata flower and Satyabhama wanted a whole tree. It's a big deal. And Vrindavan, these forest garland of wild flowers and leaves are superior. Krishna's cowherding stick, buffalo horn, yogurt rice in his hand, mentioned. That's what the sight of Brahma. The morsel of yogurt rice in Krishna's hand, the stick and horn indicate the superiority of Krishna's cowherd boy from all others. Krishna's soft feet, mridupade, that's in the Sanskrit of this verse. Those wandering in the forest of Vrindavan become filled with ecstasy upon seeing Krishna's footprints. Now it's just he's taking a verse. This is the first verse. He's taking the first verse and zooming us in, or his heart has zoomed in and he's sharing with us what Brahma is feeling, what's he conveying, and what nectar one can receive by hearing carefully, properly, and meditating upon these prayers of Lord Brahma. It's 5 minutes to 8. I'm not going to get very far because I spent so much time doing this warm-up, getting us into the mood of the pastime itself, the prayers. But I'll do it anyways. Many of you know, some of you may not know, because I don't know the audience here, but it's nice to hear it again and again, even if you do know. There was a moment in time when Kamsa sent many demons to kill Krishna, and they failed. Krishna killed them instead. So he consulted his ministers what to do. And the ministers said, invite him here and plan A, B, and C. You can kill Krishna, A, B, and C. He liked the idea. They spelled out what A, B, and C were. So he called one of his ministers. The minister that he called was Akrura. Now, Akrura was Krishna Bhakta, deeply realized Krishna Bhakta. But at the same time, he's part of the royal family. He's not like the Kshatriya, he's the minister type. So as the minister type, he was given a minister assignment. The minister assignment is go to Vrindavan, from Mathura to Vrindavan. I'll give you a royal chariot, nice spiffy Rolls Royce, and you can go to Vrindavan and bring Krishna back. The plan is A, B, and C. And at the end of it is, I'm going to kill Krishna. And Akrura thought, he can't kill Krishna. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's inviting his own death. Yes, I'll go. So he's got this royal chariot and going to Vrindavan, thinking, imagine, I'm going to meet Krishna today. His heart is pounding because he's a devotee, through and through devotee. He's not becoming a devotee. He's not like us. He's not a sadhaka. He's a very elevated devotee. There's many other things that happen later. He's a very elevated devotee. And the anticipating of today, I'm going to meet Krishna face to face. Wow. And as he's traveling into Vrindavan, he looks over the side of the chariot and sees Krishna's footprints in the soft sand of Vrindavan. He loses it. He falls out of the chariot, rolls on the ground in the dust of Vrindavan, touching the footprints of Krishna, and goes into ecstasy. What to speak of the residents of Vrindavan that see the footprints of Krishna every day? And it's not like familiarity breeds contempt. They just take it for granted. They have love. They're not sadhakas. They have love. So upon seeing Krishna's footprints, those wandering in the forest, they become filled with ecstasy. And there's Nanda and Yashoda. You know the pastime, a childhood pastime. Mother Yashoda makes a request. Krishna's a little boy. Little boy, doesn't speak yet. So he says, bring your father's shoes. So he goes over to the shoes and points at the shoes and looks at his mother. He's playing. He's a pastime. And she smiles. Bring them to your father. So he takes the shoes and puts the shoes on his head, toddles over to his father and brings his father his shoes. Look at that nice smile of Nanda Maharaj. How intimate is that loving exchange of parental affection? By stating that Krishna, the son of a cow herder, Pashupa Anga Jaya. Brahma shows the superior fortune of Nanda over Vasudeva. It's all in this first verse. It's just it's Krishna meditation. Finally, Vishwanath writes, Brahma, immersed in great ocean of Krishna's sweetness, mixed with respect because he has seen what he saw. So he's not a Brijbasi. He knows Krishna is the supreme. And there he is standing with a lump of yogurt and rice in his hand, staring at him with unblinking eyes. So he has respect and knowledge, but he also has been invited into this realm of sweetness. He praises Krishna with affection and asks questions which are coming up. So this is Vishwanath again, considering what Brahma might be thinking, what Krishna might be thinking. Listen, Lord Brahma, you're the master of all powers in this universe. I'm but a cowherd boy, the son of a cowherd man in the forest. You're an ancient and exalted personality. I'm but a small boy. You're knowledgeable of all the Vedas, but I'm ignorant, keeper of cows, and so unaware of proper conduct that I run around with some yogurt rice in my hand. I'm not qualified for your praise. That's the first verse. Focusing on his beauty and his ornaments and his dhoti and, his features. My dear Lord, neither I nor anyone else can estimate the potency of this transcendental body of yours, which has shown such mercy to me, and which appears just to fulfill the desires of your pure devotees. A little comment. The painting on the right is the European BBT rewrite of Krishna book. Because what happened, and I remember this happening, in the (1971) or something like that, Krishna book was published. And the artists were not accomplished, but they were devoted. So Prabhupada gave descriptions of what he wanted the artwork to be, and they did their best. And it was a little, nice, but not so nice, but devotional. And then the Krishna book was published with that artwork. Later, in German and French and in Sweden and Italian and this and that, the European BBT, they wanted to redo the artwork and when they published in their language. So they had some artists, and this is one of the paintings in the European BBT divisions. Brahmas looked pretty big. This is a B.G. Sharma painting. Although my mind is completely withdrawn from material affairs, I cannot understand your personal form. How then could I possibly understand the happiness you experience within yourself? He's just contemplating the inconceivable. Jiva Goswami writes, Brahma does not state in this verse that Brahman is incomprehensible in its impersonal feature, for he explains that Krishna, with his personal features, is more difficult to understand than Brahman. It's a nice way of saying it. Yes, it's possible for having some hint of an idea of the Brahma. It was in an earlier verse spoken by Shukadeva Swami about the cowherd boys. The Brahma Sukh of the Gyanis, the spiritual happiness of Brahma realization of Brahman that Gyanis may experience. So he's not saying you can't understand. Brahman is incomprehensible. But compared to Brahman having Brahma Sukh, it's another platform altogether to understand Krishna and his personal feature. Though you manifested many forms, you're only one form. That form showed me mercy because you protect my creation by destroying adharma and propagating dharmas. This is Sanatana Goswami's commentary. And there's the older style BBT painting. And the demigod flying up in the sky, and the various forms of Narayana and Brahma with his mouth gaping open. Phew. No one can understand the greatness of your cowherd boy form, superior to your form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Your form is beyond material qualities. Again, Sanatana Goswami. Because of this, that's Krishna's form, cannot be understood by the inner mind, what to speak of direct perception. And Brahma is very capable. I mean, he built the universe. He didn't just build Miami Beach or Miami Town or Florida or all the living entities that make up, the alligators and the swamps and, this and the mosquitoes. And he built the whole universe. He's superlatively intelligent, but he is indicating understanding Krishna is very special. Now, this is the last verse. This a special, 3 times special verse. That's why it's color coded. Gyane. Let's say the verse together. The last verse. It's just let's say it twice. It's a nice verse. Gyane prayasam udapasya namanta eva. Jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiyavartam stanesthatakshrutigatam tanavan manobhir ye prayaso jitajito pyasitais trilokyam. One more time. Jnane prayasam udapasya namanta eva. Jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiyavartam stanesthatakshrutikatam tanovan manobhir ye prayaso jitajito pyasitrais trilokyam. Nice sounding. And before coming here, I was in Houston, Texas. And when I left, I asked him to memorize this verse. And not just memorize it, but meditate on it. Verse number 1 is a really nice verse to meditate on also. It's the form of Krishna. It's like you meditate on that verse and it's a painting. When to speak of the many nice paintings. And so it's a way, Krishna's form becomes revealed to one who hears Srimad Bhagavatam with that kind of attention. So it's nice to just chant as we just did, and then chant it again and chant it again and chant it again and meditate on the meaning of the words. So here we're going to do that a little bit. Here's the translation. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, that's the stane statak, remaining situated in their established social positions, throw away the process of speculative knowledge, udapasya namanta eva, with their body, words, and mind, tanavan manobhir, offer all respects to the descriptions, that's what we're doing right now, of his personality and activities. dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, Jitta, although you are otherwise unconquerable, Ajitta, by anyone within the three worlds. So it means you're going to be out of the three worlds. So little by little, we'll go through the verse. Jnane prayasam udapasya. Udapasya, not even a slight endeavor. Stop speculations. One should not even slightly endeavor to understand the absolute truth by the process of mental speculation. Jnane, prayasa is to endeavor. Prayasa means to endeavor. Endeavoring for jnana. Not even the slightest. Udapasya. Not even a slight endeavor. Why? It invariably carries one to an imperfect, impersonal understanding of God. So don't waste your time. So that's how it starts. Jnane prayasam udapasya. Namanta. Obeisances. Namanta. Jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiyavartan. So the illustration is clear. They're hearing Krishna. A devotee who always hears about Lord Krishna will go back home, back to Godhead, even if, this is Prabhupada, even if he can do nothing except maintain his existence. That's Jivanti. And hear topics concerning the Lord. Now, supposing somebody's incapacitated, or supposing so many supposings. I know a family from the earliest childhood. They have a very normal daughter. They had another daughter, a second daughter, and she's just, her body is a vegetable. She can't do anything, but her body keeps getting bigger. She's just, they're doing this. Her life is being maintained. It's major sacrifice to maintain this growing teenage girl that sits in a chair. She can't move. She can't speak. She can make sounds, but anyway, it's very difficult for the parents and the other sister. That's quite normal. But this is a place of shelter for them. Jivanti sammukaritam bhavadiyavartan. Stane statak. Even if the devotees stay in their social duties, they can conquer Krishna. How? Shrutigatam tanavam manobir. Their body touch the lotus feet of the Lord. Words. Call him to come with their words. Mind, thinking about him. Shrutigatam. Taking shelter of hearing the topics of his name, form, pastimes, and qualities, which is what we're doing. Their body goes through it again, touching the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is in deity worship over there on the right. The Bhagavatam is also the form of the Lord. The form of the Lord in his book, the form of his Lord in his deity, and the form of the Lord in the words from the disciplic succession. With one's words, call him to come with their words by chanting and other forms, just like Brahma is doing with his prayers. Ye prayaso jita jito pi asi taistrilokyam ajita. He's unconquered. By one's physical abilities, mental power, verbal expertise, or any other material faculty, he is unconquerable. But he becomes conquered. Ajita becomes jitta by pure devotees. Tanavan Madobir. Krishna gets conquered by his pure devotees' offering of their body, mind, and words unto him. Lord Krishna's body, beautiful painting. Lord Krishna's body is conquered because he always remains by the side of his pure devotees. Look at Balaram is touching Krishna's ankles. And Mother Yasoda's, shh, he's asleep, don't wake him up. But he's got to touch Krishna's ankles. Lord Krishna's words are conquered because he always chants the glories of his devotees. Devotees chant his glories and he chants his devotees' glories. Lord Krishna's mind is conquered because he always thinks about his loving devotees. Manobhir. That's meditation on Krishna for sure. Krishna meditating on his devotee. Now, this is the last slide for this evening. You all recognize the scene. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu having a discussion with Ramananda Roy. Little background for those of you that are a little newer. Ramananda Roy was a governor of Madras, and he was not from an elevated family. He was a Kayastha family, but he was highly elevated spiritually and a very competent manager, so he was a governor. And when Lord Chaitanya was planning to make a South Indian tour, ostensibly to look for his elder brother who had taken sannyas and went off to South India somewhere, imagine going somewhere in South India looking for somebody. It's a big, South India is a big place. But it was another purpose. It was giving Krishna consciousness. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, super scholar Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, I would say more, but because of time I won't. He made this recommendation. I know you're going to go. We wish you to not go, but we can't ask you to not go. So please do this. When you go, meet Ramananda Roy. Before I met him, and I thought he was a sentimentalist. But now that I've met you, I understand he's most elevated. And you'll enjoy very much his association. So please make some arrangement somehow. So the arrangement was made by divine intervention, and he met with the king, the governor. So there's the governor, and there's Lord Chaitanya, and it was a role reversal. The sannyasi is asking the governor for spiritual answers to spiritual questions. And the first question, what's the goal of life and the means to achieve it? That's a nice place to start a discussion. And one of the verses, they discussed many. It's a nice section from Chaitanya Charitamrita, but the one that Lord Chaitanya accepted was this one. So we're at least, I plan to cover starting with verse number 4, and we'll see how far we get, maybe up to verse number 8 of prayers. But between now and 2 evenings from now, go over verse number 3, meditate on what verse number 3 is saying, because it's so important. A nice place to look is Chaitanya Charitamrita, where extensive commentary is made to explain the importance of this verse. Why did Lord Chaitanya say yes when before he said no? Including, other very key verses from Bhagavad Gita, without having another class on that topic right now because of time. It's a nice verse. It's a very important verse. And it's right in Lord Brahma's prayers. One more time. Lord Chaitanya accepted, yes, this is the goal of life and the means to achieve it. I didn't get very far. But let's see if there's some discussion. We have a portable microphone if somebody wants to volunteer.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. This wonderful session. All the pictures were so good to meditate on.
It takes a while to gather all those pictures.
Yes, I can understand that. Yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj. So, if possible, can you share this presentation with us?
I have a policy, I don't do that.
Oh, okay.
There's reasons, but I won't go into the reasons. I don't do that.
Okay. Okay, Maharaj. Yeah. Okay. So, Maharaj, my question is when we hear these pastimes and when we read the prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see how like Krishna's form qualities, and that time we feel so blissful while reading, but eventually after that we'll forget, and when we do other activities we'll totally forget, and will so how to meditate constantly on those form and qualities?
Become Krishna conscious. And how do you become Krishna conscious? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam. You follow the process, and that's how you become Krishna conscious. And when you're Krishna conscious, it stays with you. What you do, I'll just a little sharing, because I was with Garuda and he shared some very interesting things. One of the things that he shared was he sometimes dreams in Sanskrit. No, I don't think I'm going to ever dream in Sanskrit. But what you do during the day, it comes in your dream. And if you're absorbed, so it's a qualitative. If you're absorbed, then it stays with you. And even when you're doing something else, that something else is felt from the inside, because it's inside. The connection with the outside is felt. And then there's an eagerness to get back to the inside. So there's a very nice teaching, amongst many nice teaching that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, you've been around, so you know, so I'll just say this so that you understand it. Raghunath Das Goswami had zippo interest in the fabulous wealth of his father and uncle. No interest at all. And he was the only son. He was due to inherit it all. No interest at all. And he kept this, the whole story. They married him to a very beautiful girl. So money and a beautiful wife. He had no interest at all. He tried running away, and his father sent soldiers and captured him and brought him back, and tried it again and again and again. There was the second time that he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had accepted sannyas. Anyway, without all the detail, Raghunath Das met Lord Chaitanya privately and said, "Please take me with you." And he was like, restless. And Lord Chaitanya scolded him. He said, "It's not so easy to break away from one's material life. Be patient, and outwardly and inwardly. Outwardly, live a normal life. And inwardly, cultivate your attraction for Krishna. And by doing so, surely Krishna will deliver you in quickly. And that's what happened. So he said no, go back home. And so he did what Lord Chaitanya said. And anyway, so what we do in the world we should do for Krishna. And that's karma yoga. Yad karoshi, yad asnasi, yad jahosi, dadasi, yad, etc. That's karma yoga. The result goes to Krishna. And then bhakti is step above karma yoga. It's bhakti yoga, where everything that you do, it's not like you stop. There's certain. There's certain worldly things. They're no-nos. We just don't do them because they're no-nos. But those things that are yes, yes, instead of no, we do them for Krishna with devotion. So you cultivate bhakti, and then your life becomes bhakti. It's not like you stop doing worldly things, but as needed, you do. And then time moves and circumstances change, and as circumstances change, it evolves to a more full Krishna-centered life. And you still do stuff, but when you do stuff, you're not forgetting Krishna, because bhakti has become stronger. So you'll right back to square one. How does bhakti begin? And you do that. And then you cultivate it. You seriously cultivate it because you want reality. If you're clear that's what you want, then that's what's going to happen. And you follow the practices, the sadhana, the abhyasa, the practice that brings awakening of spiritual consciousness and the dialing down of material absorption, so that you do the material things in a moderate fashion, which was Lord Chaitanya's instruction to Raghunath Das Goswami. Be moderate. Don't trash it. Just be responsible. But be inwardly attached to Krishna. Cultivate that. It happens. And you could go back and go back and go back. You chant your japa every day, and you hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day, and you worship your deity every day. You do those things that have the potency, and then do those things that have the potency in a conscious way. And you strive every day, every day, every day. Some days better, some days weaker, but you strive every day. And you'll get there. He who strives by right means is assured of success, Krishna says. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for the wonderful class. I liked all the beautiful paintings, and especially the first verse was
Beautiful, huh?
beautiful. I like it. I want to meditate on it, learn the verse, and also the third verse. So my question is, Brahmaji composed the Brahma Samhita at the beginning of creation.
Yeah.
He was all knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So now he's bewildered. Can you shed light on it?
So how did he go from the Brahma Samhita to getting bewildered?
Yes.
That's your question.
Yes, Maharaj.
There are different explanations. It's not like in the case of Indra that Indra had become proud. Now, Brahma is powerful, and it's one of the risks of having power then one can also become intoxicated with that power. Later on in his prayers, he's going to say like that. With this second set of prayers, with expressions of humility, he's going to confess his pride. But what kind of pride did he have compared to, a worldly person's kind of pride? So it's more humility than it is pride. So a big part, this is my understanding, a big part is a little bit like Arjuna being bewildered. Or we had this because of this Memorial Day weekend. How did the gopis become bewildered or proud? Twice in the same chapter. The gopis were proud, and then Radharani was proud. No, there's no pride. They're not like sadhakas that kind of got carried away. So, induced by the Yogamaya potency or Leela Shakti, things can happen that are quite unusual, not normal, for purposes of Krishna giving instruction, like Krishna gives instruction to Arjuna. No, who's Arjuna? He's an eternal associate of Krishna. Eternal. Whenever Krishna appears, Arjuna's there. Arjuna's eternal associate. So how does he get bewildered? So how does Brahma get bewildered? For a pastime. And the end is, wow. So whatever he's realized and expresses in Sri Brahma Samhita and the Govinda prayers there, it's amplified here. Will you hear his prayers? They're out of sight. Now, what he expresses in the Govinda prayers or the Brahma Samhita prayers, that's very high. And it's further. This is Braja. This is Krishna and Braja. And that's higher than building a universe. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. Verse 3, the Stanistita verse. How to understand that when it says one can remain in one social position and still attain perfection?
Why not? I mean, that's the goal and how to achieve it. The how to achieve it doesn't mean you have to become a sannyasi. If you're a Shankara follower, you have to become a sannyasi. For a Vaishnava, you don't have to become a sannyasi. You don't have to take this, this ashram, and, et cetera, et cetera. There's no material prerequisite. It's an essential teaching of bhakti. There's no material prerequisite. So stay in your position. It says sthane sthita. So how many you take the 12 Mahajans, how many were renunciates and how many were grahastas? The majority were grahastas. Sthane sthita. Okay? Clear?
One does not have to become a Vanaprastha.
You don't have to. You don't have to. No, as you evolve spiritually, then like Prabhupada says, a grahasta sannyas. That means they follow the standards of grahasta and they don't deviate. The Jayadev. There's so many nice examples. So many nice examples. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. 10 children. How many children do you have? So, Stane Satak. And he wrote 100 books. How many books have you written? I haven't written one either. So, just, there's not a requirement to change ashrams or change anything. Stay in your social position. And dedicate that, just like her question, the very first question. It's the dedication to the topics. Dedication, not just spend some time with this and dilly-dally with that and Haribol. It's dedication. A life of dedication to transcendence from whatever the position, social position. Okay? Something else.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, there are a couple of questions online.
Okay, go ahead.
First one is by Anusha Mataji. Guru Maharaj, as I am hearing these Vraja Kathamrita stories, it fascinates me, but not sure what is my mood while hearing.
What, you're not sure what?
My mood while hearing.
Well, you have to ask yourself that question, not me.
And second question by Neeraj Bhatnagar Prabhu. Hare Krishna Maharaj, I could not understand how there were 3 sets of gopas. Can you
Okay,
please
let's do
elaborate?
it again. 3 sets of gopas. 1, 2, 3. The third set, we'll go backwards. The third set was a set of gopas that Krishna manifested. Those weren't the original gopas. That's the third set. The first set, when Krishna understood, Yogamaya assisted Krishna to fulfill Krishna's desire, and Yogamaya came and concealed the original. And then Mahamaya provided set number 2. Here's a detail. Lord Brahma has powers, and Lord Brahma put the cowherd boys in the calves and, quote, put them to sleep. But our acharyas say you can't put, Brahma doesn't have the power to do anything with Krishna's cowherd boys. They're Satchitananda forms like his. And his potency doesn't act on the spiritual platform. His potency acts on the material platform. Therefore, he could put the Maya cowherd boys to sleep in the cave. To sleep means just like those of you that have had an operation, anesthesia. When you've had anesthesia and the anesthesia wears off, what's your sense of passage of time? No time. Because it's deep sleep. And it's not no time. So when the cowherd boys that were the Maya cowherd boys, we don't hear what happened to the Maya cowherd boys at the end of this. Because the original cowherd boys, we do hear what happened. At the end of 1 year, Yogamaya put them back, and there they were having lunch with Krishna. As if a moment had passed. And they didn't have a sense of that they were separated from Krishna for a year. Now Krishna knew what was going on, but they didn't. So that's the first set. And then the third set, Krishna withdrew them. He manifested them and withdrew them. And the Maya cowherd boys, we don't find out what happened with them. They were just Maya cowherd boys, and they disappeared. That's all. But that's the 3 sets.
There's one last question, Maharaj.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, as long as we are not engaged in 24 hours direct devotion to Krishna, do we remain on platform of Karma Mishra Bhakti?
Karma Mishra Bhakti? You may be asleep. I don't know what you call that, Karma Mishra Bhakti. This is your son? This little boy? Huh? Daughter. Very precocious little one. Keeps you busy, probably. So it not necessarily could be Jnana Mishra Bhakti. It could be other. Does not necessarily. Karma is more popular than Gyan in this world. So that's what one does. You say the question is saying 24 hours a day, but so if one's activities are not, we're devotees of sorts, but we're not on the 24-hour platform or Ananya Bhak platform, then there's some mixture, and largely yes, but karma and Gyan both mixed. Okay, yeah. Here comes the microphone, so others can hear you.
Thank you very much for the class. I just have one quick question. So these three manifestation sets of Gopas
Yeah.
happen simultaneously?
Yes.
Okay.
No problem for Krishna.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That answers my question.
Well, one of them just got concealed. Another one is the Maya, and the other one Krishna manifested. Like boom, boom, boom. Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Premanand.